I saw my grandfather at the age of 110, 118, with a straight back. He never used a cane, never used glasses. In his quiet moments, he prayed for death, that all his mates had died, that he had no one of his age grade to speak with in the night. So life was boring for him. If he knew where poison was, he would have drank it. His depression was because he was too old. Based on the calculation of the people that knew what to look at, he lived for 120 years. Then when he died, the generation of my father, none of them could live up to 70. Because he was so old, I met him. And I did not just meet him. He was my friend. That was a man that will never call you by the name your parents gave you. If you know what I'm talking about, those people will call you by the inspiration of divination. The moment you will say, okay, there's long life in this family, the moment it died, the life expectancy became 60 years. Half of what we saw him live. And it was a concern to me. Because my dad went at 62. That's young. The one that followed was 61. The one that followed was 64. The other one that followed was 65. So if it were a coincidence, we would have seen one that would have reached 70. Spiritual men became concerned. You know, I said that the spirit, he helps weakness. When I began to press into the matter, he didn't answer me for a long time. When he saw that I would not give up, then he gave me a vision, a sign. And in that vision, I was carrying a child. I lifted up a child. And he said, the day when this child is born, that's when that yoke can break. I learned two things from that instruction that God, that revelation that God gave. That there must be equilibrium. The people that built the priesthood, that created that possibility, they did it with sacrifice. And if you are going to change that legislation, it is going to be by sacrifice. I don't know how spirits measure these things. But the principle of sacrifice could not be violated. I say, continue praying, but it's only when this child is born that the possibility of deliverance will be open. There was no school you could learn that feedback. No school. It was the Spirit's help. Well, to cut the long story short, it took 10 years before I saw that child. And that child was my firstborn. It was in the days when that child was born that I began to speak angrily against that altar. And as I began to speak against it, I began to see the effect. It is not as if I didn't speak before. Just like you are speaking now, and you have not seen anything. There is an insight you lack. You need this. If you know how much of help you need, you will stay long with God. We need